the next act. It's Dylan and Horvat.
Jesus! Yep, there's empty back on that. Wish I was wearing a mask now. Hi, I'm Dylan Horvat and I'm a diabetic. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes last year. 6 months later, I was re-diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Guess I leveled up. Now, the doctors got it wrong, but to be fair, they're only one type off, it's fine. More than anything, it made me realise how lazy the names of the diabetes are. Like with arthritis, you've got osteoporosis and rheumatoid. Cancer, you've got benign and malignant. Diabetes, you've got 1 and 2. They're like the side characters that don't have names. Whenever I tell anyone I'm diabetic, they always respond like I'm a child who needs to go to the toilet. Is it number 1 or number 2? And it makes my kidneys work overtime and the medication gives me diarrhea. It's both. I actually got type 2 from a bone growth disorder I was born with that makes you prone to diabetes. So I'm not like most people who get it completely from obesity, too much sugar, lack of exercise. That's just a coincidence. It's a scary diagnosis though. I'm there in the hospital dying and hallucinating. Normal blood sugar level is 5, mine was 43. And this is April last year, so my assumption was I got corona. Great timing, diabetes. So I'm just there on my phone, the doctor comes out and I go, what's wrong with me? And he says, type 1 diabetes. So I did. O-N-E space D-I-A-B-E-T-E. Yes, now what? Now stab yourself at least 6 times a day. One of the reasons they thought it was type 1 was because I nearly died of a DKA, which is when there's so much sugar in the body and no insulin, so your blood turns into acid, which explains the hallucinations. But yeah, very rare to happen to a type 2. We're normally stronger than that. We're a tough breed. Type 1s. So while I'm in the hospital recovering for 6 days, 3 of which I have a catheter up my dick hole, going into my bladder and sucking out all the pee. That was just 6 days of doctors being obsessed with my piss. They legit just watched the bottle that the catheter was connected to as it filled up with my piss. My piss hasn't received that much positive attention since I first learned to do it in the toilet by myself for the first time. So then I got the catheter taken out, went to go do a piss in the toilet again. A little bit of blood came with it, like mixed together. Looked a bit like pink Moscato. And the nurses said, no, it's normal to have trauma in that area after having a catheter taken out. So when people talk about diabetes, one side effect they never mention is penis trauma. It's what I could have done without. So I got the diagnosis of type 1, and all my friends said the same thing. No more energy drinks for you, Horvat. Can't have those anymore. Went to the diabetes clinic and they were like, if your blood sugar gets too low, feel free to have an energy drink. Intense amounts of sugar will sometimes be very necessary. I used to drink so many energy drinks and never collected the cans. That's such a common thing now to keep the cans and bottles and sell them for 10 cents. It used to be only homeless people did that. They just find cans of bottles and bins or on the street and that's how they get their money. Now we can't even let them have that. That extra $2.50 a month is ours now. It's 2010's capitalism right there. Not enough that they can't have homes, now we can't even let them have garbage. So fasting on diabetes is the worst. So when you nearly die of a disease, you have to have blood tests for a while. And so before a blood test, you have to fast for 12 hours. Can't eat any food, can't drink anything other than water. So having a blood test for diabetes means you can't treat your diabetes for 12 hours. That's terrifying. And I said to them, I was like, so you said that if my blood sugar gets too low, then I immediately have to have carbohydrates. And they're like, yeah, we did say that. We know. So while fasting, my blood sugar level went to under 3. Which is apparently emergency level. Time to call an ambulance. Just so I could have a blood test that told me I was actually type 2. Which is good, because if I were type 1, I wouldn't have known the result because I'd be dead. So yeah, most people get type 2 because they're too fat, but the medication makes you lose weight. I have lost, 8 kilos on that medication so far. Thank you. Type 1 just happens to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the medication for that makes you gain weight. That's insulin. I gained 15 kilos on insulin. And that doesn't seem fair to me. So if you're type 2, you eat like a pig and they give you the weight loss tablets. If you're type 1, then you're just a poor innocent victim of random circumstance and they give you the weight gain juice. It's like they give it to you, it's like, you're gonna get so fat. So yeah, type 2 was definitely better than type 1. When it comes to diabetes, the sequel is always better. I'm gonna sign back to Matty B. Thanks, guys.